Hey guys, today we got a 2022 Hyundai Elantra. This service is the same, I believe, 2020 and up, with the Kia Hyundai IVT transmissions. There's a CVT, they call it an IVT, but it is a CVT. Under normal conditions, their interval is lifetime. You don't change the fluid. Under the severe category, they're at every 60,000 miles. With all the driving I do up in New York, I would do it every sooner than 60,000, so that's why I am at 30,000. We're just going to do a simple drain and fill. Easiest thing you can do to make these things last as long as they can. No issues with it. It's butter smooth right now, so I figured we'll keep it that way. First thing you gotta do is take your air box out. I've already done that. It's 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 2 little plastic push things, and then this whole air box thing comes out. Down at the bottom here, there's a 24 millimeter nut there. That is going to be your fill. So we're going to crack that next, and we'll lift the car, get underneath it. I'm sure there is a procedure and an overfill plug like there is on the regular Kia Hyundai regular transmissions, or the valve body's on the front, and then you get up to temp, you open that up, and when it spills out, she's full. These are too new, so there's not too much online about these. I do a measuring container, so we'll just measure what comes out and put that same amount back in. Just make sure there's no dirt or anything around there when you pop that. You definitely don't want dirt getting in there. So we'll go ahead and pop that quick, get the fill plug out. If you drain it and you can't get the fill plug out, if it gets rounded or whatever the reason is, then you're kind of SOL, because then you can't put new fluid back in it. So 24 mil fits on it nicely. This is an oil filter socket, 6-point, so it will not round that, and we'll have to get underneath and see what size that one is. The factory does put that in there quite tight. That's all it is. I'm sure you can go to the dealer and you could buy a little crush gasket for that. There's no reason why that'll leak if you just snug that back up. But there is fluid in there, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw this on loosely, just so when I lift it, if there's anything there, it doesn't start spilling out the top. But we do know that we can get that plug out of there. So we'll lift the car up and see what happens. Alright, so here we are under the car. Engine side's over here with the aluminum pan. And then this is your CVT pan. I believe if you drop this pan, there is a filter in there. If I still have the car around 60,000, that'll probably be something I do. But for this, we'll just do a simple drain and fill. And same 24 millimeter nut on this one. Gonna use, like I said, I got a measuring container here. So we're gonna try and get this out without making a complete mess. I might actually just use my I was gonna use my oil drain pan actually, because I'm worried this is gonna overshoot this opening. So let me go get that quick. Alright, so I just got my big oil drain pan instead, and then we'll dump it into that. So that way it doesn't make a huge mess. So let's spin this way under the car, trying to do this all one-handed. So I'll take that plug right out. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see that. It's not black. It's definitely got a tint to it. I'm not sure what color the new stuff is yet. And I've been driving this about 40 miles today, so it is pretty toasty. So there's about 29,000 miles on this. So we're at pretty much half of what the service interval is for the severe driving. Let me pull that out quick, I'll show you. So I don't know how well you can see this in this black pan, But looking at it, there's definitely metal in there. It's normal. I believe these use a chain instead of a belt, steel chain instead of a steel belt or something like that. So it's supposed to make these a little more reliable on paper. Don't know yet. These have only been out a couple years. Failure rates are pretty low from what I understand. So, you know, like I said, the fluid's not black, but we'll pour it in that clear container and we'll see what it looks like. So on this, we got just about 3 quarts out of it. That fluid is spanked. It is pretty much black. That container is not deceiving. You know, these manufacturers are always promoting these lifetime fluids, never change them. So that's fine when the transmission breaks at 100,000 and it's not under warranty anymore. But in reality, I only paid about $13 a quart for the fluid through the dealer. And I bought 5 quarts, didn't know what this would do, but I'll have some left over. And it's about the same price as buying like a Universal, Valvoline brand or Castrol. And quite honestly, I've never really been a fan of Universal ATFs, CVT fluids. Just get the original stuff from the dealer. It's really not that much more expensive. In this case, it was about the same price as going to Walmart and buying Universal. So that's what's in it at the factory. That's what's going to go back in. There's no question if it's going to work or not. It is genuine fluid. So I have a clean container, and we'll measure that up and put some new fluid in. So this right here is the new stuff. It almost looks like engine oil, but that's what it's supposed to look like. So nice and clean. We got 3 quarts in there, and that'll go in. So I just loosen that up and push that away there, but take a nice clean funnel. It's gonna go right down in there. And we're gonna pour this slow, make sure it doesn't gurgle out fluid. Take this thing off of there. And we're gonna fill it. If you own one of these cars, and this really is a pretty simple, besides taking the airbox out, which is only 3 bolts and 2 plastic push pins, this really is pretty simple. I know on the Toyotas you gotta take the wheel off and fill it from the side, which I guess is really no big deal. This is definitely something DIY if you're planning on keeping the car for some time. I don't understand why manufacturers are pushing this lifetime fluid. I think a lot of it is, people will do it, they won't do it right, and then they'll try and come after the warranty, for, their transmission broke, so they want the warranty to pay for it, or they'll use a cheap aftermarket fluid, and, that'll cause damage on it. So, I think their assumption is, well, make it lifetime fluid so people don't have to change it, and then we don't got to worry about that. If you know what you're doing, you're confident enough, and it's really no different than changing your engine oil. This thing gets changed every 3,000 miles. It only costs me, between the filter and the oil, less than $30. It's cheap assurance. It is a Hyundai, so it could have engine issues, but the biggest things with Hyundais and Kias is people buy them thinking, it's a 100,000 mile warranty. That doesn't always mean anything, because if you don't take care of the car, just like any car, it's going to fail. So, pretty cheap. So, in reality, 13 times 6, that's, I don't know, that's like 40 bucks. 40 something dollars to do a fluid change. Dealership would probably charge you $200, $300, $400 to do this service. All you need is a floor jack, get under the car, a couple of basic hand tools, and you're golden. And that's how you do a transmission fluid change on your Hyundai Kia IVT transmission. Thanks for watching.